Well, we have some news about the Golden State Warriors and more specifically Dwight Howard. I don't know if you're going to like what Kylen Mills and I have to say about it, but we're going to break it all down next. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can follow Kylen Mills on all social media platforms at her name, Kylen Mills. Super easy. You can follow me on Threads at Dog Wild. Well, Kylen, the report came out today from Shams Charania that the Warriors are not interested in Dwight Howard. I am not thrilled with the news. We're also going to break down another report in terms of who the Warriors are seeking. But let's start first with that. What is your reaction, and how are you doing, by the way?
I'm doing great. Good to see you, Cy. Not great, though, is the news that you just mentioned. We talked about it in our last episode. The Warriors, I think, were a perfect landing spot for Dwight Howard. I think he would have been a good addition in terms of the 14th roster spot. We talked about the need for size, the defensive prowess he could add. Even at the age that he's at, he could still provide supplemental minutes that would help, Kevon Looney and Draymond Green get some rest. And he would help just enforce the interior defense the Warriors desperately need reinforcements in. All things considered, it seemed like it was a good fit. All reports that were out were that the Warriors vets signed off on adding Dwight and that things did go well during the meeting. And that's exactly what I've heard. So it's just a little bit baffling in terms of what the next move is, because to me, this would have been a good move.
Absolutely. And we're going to keep things short today, by the way. I'm going to record another show tomorrow with Trice High. He's produced the Steph Curry documentary, and we'll get into a little more with him. But I agree with you. It's colossally disappointing, especially given the fact that your former colleague at Cron, Jason Dumas, suddenly turned into like the Woodward and Bernstein of sports journalism in the Bay Area. I don't know, what's going on. What was your reaction, by the way, to Draymond Green quote tweeting him that he can't believe that there are still leaks in the building? And he was pointing directly at Dumas. Like, where are you getting your information from? Which indicated it was correct. He didn't deny any of it, but they all went and worked out together after Dwight's 2 days meeting with the Warriors. They went to LA. Chris Paul was involved. They're having fun playing football. And then we find out Dwight Howard's not going to be a member of the Golden State Warriors. What was your reaction to the Draymond Green tweet? Basically being annoyed, maybe playing playful. I don't know what the actual reaction was, but what's your thought process behind that?
I think that the Warriors are probably still concerned about wanting to, shore up what's going on internally after the way the Jordan Poole punch got out last season. It was something Steve Kerr, a number of players talked about. They wanted to stay in the building, and, word is continuing to get out about some of these different topics. So, I think it's something, especially Draymond Green, given what happened last year, is very cognizant of. So it wasn't a huge surprise to me to see him quote tweeting that. And saying that, whether or not what the tone was, like whether or not he was being playful, I don't know. It's so hard to read on the internet now and social media, what type of way or what inflection was meant on the tweet. But I could see Draymond Green being concerned, because that's exactly how he was exposed last year at the start of the season. If there's already leaks now, well before preseason begins, what's possibly to come. So I think it's something that internally the Warriors are very, very aware of in terms of information getting out to the media that they don't necessarily want out there, because it happened last season. But it just, the whole report, though, makes it more baffling as to why the Warriors ended up deciding they didn't want to move forward with Dwight Howard, because all reports indicated things went well. Like you mentioned, Dwight was spending time with Draymond Green and Chris Paul, two of the big leaders of the Warriors, Paul being the newest, and we're still waiting to see how that's going to pan out. But still, the fact that he's spending time with the current vets and players, it's just kind of head scratching. The only thing I could think is, Steve Kerr doesn't like bigs. I mean,
Well, now here's the piece of good news, because pretty much the same day that we heard that Dwight Howard was going to come in for a workout. The Warriors also signed a two-way player named Usman Garuba. I had Jackson Gadlin. He hosts Locked on NBA one day a week. He hosts Locked on Rockets. And Usman was a member of the Rockets for 2 years. He was their former first-round pick in 2021. And everything Jackson said was positive. That Usman Garuba, first of all, he's 6'8", so he's not small, and that's a huge relief. And when I look at the two-way players now versus last year, that alone is night and day. That alone makes me feel a million times better. Jackson had a lot of positive things to say about Usman Garuba, chief among them that this is a player who aspires to be the next Draymond Green. So if that plays out, I think the Warriors are going to be okay. And I'm wondering if they're looking at Usman as their fifth big. Do you have any thoughts or reactions to the fact that might be it for bigs? Because we're going to talk about Anthony Slater of The Athletic reported the type of player the Warriors are looking for that 14th roster spot. We're going to get to that in just a second. But Usman Garuba might be that fifth big. He might be taking on a lot of responsibilities. What's your reaction to that? Is that good enough for a team trying to win a world championship?
No, it's not good enough. I'm shaking my head because comparing Dwight Howard to Usman Garuba in terms of what their capabilities are is a joke. And I'm not saying that Usman Garuba couldn't possibly have a bright future, but he is completely unproven, 21 years old, not ready to take on that kind of workload. And you're talking about Dwight Howard, who is a veteran and at one point was one of the best bigs in the league. And you know, an all-star and all the other accomplishments that he's racked up, a great defender. I just don't think that you could even put those two even remotely in the same category as to what they have to offer the Warriors. That is not a good enough replacement in terms of size compared to signing a Dwight Howard. I don't care how old he is. He still has enough to be able to help the Warriors with, like I said, especially interior defense. Obviously, you know, the Warriors can use any help they can get with size and rebounding and all the other things that come with adding some depth in the front court. But this is not like, this is a 21-year-old who is completely unproven in the NBA. Yeah. How did it work out last season when the Warriors were giving their two-way players massive roles and they were taking on, you know, at times starting positions, rotational positions? They were running out of games by the end of the season when Anthony Lamb and Ty Jerome got huge minutes, and the team wasn't good enough. Flat out was not good enough. You do not see championship contending teams with two-way bigs taking on a huge role. And that's the issue. That's the bottom line. Dwight Howard would have been able to be that supplemental role piece who could help the front court in the second unit. And I mean, I'm glad they signed a two-way player with size. Like, I don't have an issue with that, but it's not good enough in terms of pursuing a championship and expecting him to take on that significant of a role to really give Kevon Looney and Draymond Green opportunity to rest.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry I was laughing while you were speaking, but Andre FRBK, I just had to post what he wrote in the comments that Garuba literally pooped himself during a game last year, and you trust him in a 7-game series. I mean, look, I think a lot of players have had situations like that. That's news to me, by the way. I'm not familiar with that information, but anyway, so we're going to come back with a lot more information. Got to give some love to one of our sponsors, and that's Jace Medical, which provides a very solid service for family households, individual households. I got to say, Kylen, too, by the way, before I go into this ad read, always a pleasure doing this with you. I've been in such a major funk lately, mentally. If any of you are ever suffering from mental illness, I feel you. It is one of the worst things ever, and I'm struggling with it right now. So thank you for just lightening my day up for a few moments while I'm doing this show. Jace Medical, real fast. The bottom line is this. It's good to have a medical kit in your house, right? You might need it for cuts, scrapes, to get Band-Aids. You might need a disinfectant. But what Jace Medical provides that you can't just find at your store are 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. And all it takes to get a Jace case is fill out a simple online form. And in some cases, you might need to jump on a quick call with one of their board-certified physicians, get ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment-related questions. That's another perk in terms of buying a Jace case. So don't get caught unprepared. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. And right now, Get $20 off on these life-saving antibiotics today from Jace Medical by using the code Locked On at checkout. That's jacemedical.com. Again, JASE medical.com.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. For the everydayers, again, Trice High, he's producing a 5-part Stephen Curry documentary. The first 2 parts are available right now on YouTube. He's going to join me tomorrow at 5 p.m. We'll make it a live show, maybe even make it a 2-parter if it's going that good. So make sure you join us there. But right now, Kylen Mills is with me. She's going to wrap it up in just a moment because you are a busy individual, miss. So while I have you, I'm letting people know they can follow you on all social media platforms at Kylen Mills. And let's touch on Anthony Slater's report from today, which kind of added to the whole perplexion of this entire story regarding the Golden State Warriors still not filling that 14th roster spot. Anthony Slater reported on the platform formerly known as Twitter that the Warriors are in fact looking for another wing, which helps explain why Kent Bazemore has been brought in, why maybe they're reconsidering Juan Toscano-Anderson, why they've maybe been looking at other guards. First of all, if a wing is what they're looking for, Glenn Robinson III is a player I would personally want. I think he's still out there. But Kylen, that's weird to me. What are your thoughts on Slater's report that the team is preferring to look for a wing instead of maybe another big like Nerlens Noel's?
I thought Dwight Howard was a good addition. I don't see the front court depth being there. A part of that report was the fact that he said Trayce Jackson-Davis has impressed the organization since arriving, but he is a rookie. How has it worked out with Warriors rookie bigs in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
I mean, not well.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr already doesn't like to play bigs, let alone young bigs, let alone rookies, period. So I just don't get. So you've got Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, Saric, yes, but outside of that, you need more size. I'm going to keep saying it. Trayce Jackson-Davis is not going to be ready to take on that big of a role either. And I don't really have a problem with the wing depth. So I just think the priority should be the front court. It's baffling to me. And I just thought an interesting part about the whole thing is that they're saying, oh, well, Trayce Jackson-Davis looks good. Dude, like Kerr doesn't like to play rookies. He doesn't like to play bigs. What makes you think he's going to be ready to be a role player to begin with? I don't know.
I don't know either.
How many wings do the Warriors want on this roster?
Yeah, look, we're going to find out a lot of things. Either Steve Kerr is going to prove a lot of people wrong this year, or it's not going to be a good look. And he's in a contract year. I know Mike Dunleavy Jr. has said previously that that's high on the priority list, signing an extension for him. I really wonder if it is, because if you know this game and you're following what's going on and you watched this team last year, you have to be asking yourself, what is going on with this obsession with small ball? Again, like I know Kerr's reasoning for it is versatility defensively and speed, but you don't have to always sacrifice that by getting a player who's a little taller. I don't understand that. Now a press release was sent out by the team that media availability for both Dunleavy Jr. and Steve Kerr is going to occur on Monday. And then media day, which is where all the media members show up to Chase Center, where all the players do all their fun little recorded bits that you see throughout the season. That's happening the following Monday on October 2nd, or maybe it's the following Monday. I'm going to try to get some players to record some reintros for a program. We'll see how that goes. But I know you got to run. I'm going to finish up the show, Kylen. But any final thoughts before we go into the weekend? And I know Dub Nation, again, I consider myself a member of it. I love this team. I try to separate the fandom from the reality of things when it comes to the Warriors. As a fan, I hate this. As someone who's trying to observe this objectively, I don't understand it really. So that's where I stand with the news that Dwight Howard's not coming in, and basically that the Warriors don't seem like they want to bring a big. What are your final thoughts as we bid adieu to you?
Okay, so I have one question to toss back at you before my thought, but who would you consider on the Warriors roster a wing?
Wait, repeat. I'm so sorry. Say that again.
Who would you consider a wing on this Warriors roster?
Andrew Wiggins. Yeah. Oh, you're saying all of them.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Wiggins will be one. Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Klay Thompson.
I mean, Gary?
Maybe what?
Gary?
Gary Payne the second? Yeah, he's
Mhm.
small, but I guess 6'2". Yeah, he's a wing, I guess. Yeah. Is your rhetorical question that they have plenty of wings already?
Yeah, I mean, I just was thinking it out loud in my head, and like I said, I just feel like the front court depth should be the bigger issue, and I'm just thinking Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Klay Thompson, and then because Gary isn't really a point guard, so I guess he's small, but maybe. But I still just think that those are all really, really good options, and the front court, they don't have that. Looney, Draymond, Dario Saric.
Well, you know what I want to ask.
And I'm sorry, but I'm
does,
not putting a rookie into that category. Like, I'm not.
I'm with you, and I hope someone, if I don't make it Monday, I don't know if I will, but if I don't make it, I hope someone asks either Mike Dunleavy Jr. or Steve Kerr, what is the answer to guarding these elite bigs during the grind of the regular season, during the postseason? Because you can't have Draymond guarding him all 4 quarters. Kevon Looney's already proven he can't handle that job. So I'm curious to know what they think the answer is to that. Before you go, I know you got to run right now. One name that's been popping out a lot, and this does make me a little curious and intrigued, is that some people are saying maybe the team is waiting for the Toronto Raptors to buy out Otto Porter Jr., and that's the wing that the Golden State Warriors are waiting for. If that's the case, do you feel a little better about things?
I like Otto Porter Jr., and I would like him to come back to the Warriors, but I still don't think that's an answer for Nikola Jokic and the problems with the Warriors' interior defense and the ability to defend a big center like that, or like in Anthony Davis, who crushed the Warriors in their series against the Lakers that ended up leading to the Dubs being eliminated in the postseason. That's still not an answer. And having more wing depth is not going to address that gaping issue. So I like OPJ. I would like to see him back with the Warriors, whatever the athletic training staff did. They were able to keep him healthy. He had great numbers here during that championship run. But I just still don't think it solves the problem. So yes, I would like that move, but at the same time, don't they have a 14th and 15th spot open? Couldn't they theoretically add OPJ and Dwight Howard?
Yes. Easy answer. Yes.
So that's my solution. Add them both.
Absolutely. Come on, man. As Andre just said, Kylen, you got to run. Where are you off to? What are you calling? What's your broadcast?
I'm actually going down to San Jose State, and I am hosting at their football game.
Oh, beautiful. All right. There you go. That's where I teach a bunch of classes in the journalism program. Have fun down there, and we'll see you next week. Kylen, thank you so very much as always. And
See you probably Monday.
Actually sounds good. And that is Kylen Mills, my partner in crime on this program. I'm going to get into an ad read here real fast. And then as we're going to wrap the show up, I want to play this a beautiful soundbite from I'm drawing a blank on his name, Vanderbilt from the Lakers. He was on a podcast talking about defending Stephen Curry, which was just awesome. And I really want to play that because it's a friendly reminder of how difficult it is to defend a player like Stephen Curry, who has incredible endurance. So we're going to touch on that. I also wanted to play, I screwed this one up. I wanted to play this or show this, highlight this comment from Genji Gok real quick, saying saying that you've watched a couple of other Locked On podcasts and that Kylen and myself are in another league. Thank you, sir or miss. I actually cannot tell for certain, but thank you so much. That is very kind of you. Kev F, by the way, writing up that he wants to suit back up for the Dubs himself. I don't think any of us want that. Why don't we talk real quick about our other sponsor today, and that's Bird Dogs. And look, Bird Dogs is all about comfort. It's all about style. One of my changes in life since the pandemic a few years ago, and I think a lot of people maybe are ringing a similar tune, is that I like to be comfortable. I've turned a lot more into a homebody than I used to be before the pandemic, and I'm sure a lot of other people, maybe they haven't, I don't know, but I'm guessing that's how things have gone. And look, when you're at home a lot, you want to be comfortable in what you're wearing, right? But let's say for the sake of argument, you're at home, all of a sudden you got to bounce, you got to do something. Let's say you've got a partner and they're like, I'm hungry, let's go get some food. Or there's a social event you forgot about, or you got kids and you got to go to a school event, whatever it is, and you don't feel like changing. You can wear the exact same clothes. That is the beauty of Bird Dogs. They make you look good while you feel good. Bird Dog stretch khaki shorts, for example, are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you that truly sculpted look. Their clothes are exclusively for men, so this is for all the gentlemen out there. Bird Dog's shorts do the exact same thing as Lululemon, but they fit way better. I can't wait to get a testimonial from Kylen's husband, because I've just sent him a bunch of Bird Dogs clothes as well. So it's all about style and it's all about comfort. Make sure you go check out birddogs.com/lockedonnba or enter the promo code lockedonnba at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your purchase. I have one of those. I love it. It's the perfect size. It fits in the cup holder. That's birddogs.com/lockedonnba for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. You can follow me on Threads at Dog Wild. Super easy, wrapping things up here on the show. If you have any comments you want me to read, post them right now. I want to play this soundbite real quick. Once again, Jared Vanderbilt of the LA Lakers. He was defending Stephen Curry in last season's unfortunate postseason series. And he was on a podcast recently. I don't know which one. I guess we'll find out when we're watching. And my apologies for not doing enough research on this specific sound clip. But it just was awesome because Stephen Curry's endurance is out of this world. The dude never stops running. His energy levels are absolutely obscene, in a good way if you're a Warriors fan. And Jared Vanderbilt had an opportunity to kind of talk about what it's like to guard Stephen Curry and what that experience more specifically was like in the playoffs last year. Take a listen.
Game 1, you're playing the Warriors. Your energy level, boom.
Crazy.
You ready.
Yeah.
Game 2, I could tell you was a little tired.
Oh, yeah, I was whipped out.
It's tight.
I mean, I'm
Steph Curry all
I'm
night.
chasing them. I'm chasing
You know
them
what I'm saying?
around.
Like, that's how
that's
people,
tough.
and that's what people don't realize, bro. Like, and that's why I love, I honestly do love this podcast shit because we get to open people's eyes of that shit. They don't understand. Like, you go from game 1 of chasing Steph Curry all night, but then they're like, Vando, we need you to chase Steph Curry, but we also need you to get on the boards, offensive boards.
Like,
And then I need you to pick up Steph for Oh, but Steph is the best conditioned athlete in the
best
world.
condition. I think we ran like 3 miles. We ran like 3 miles that game. So I'm chasing Steph around. You know, obviously game 1 did a good job. Game 2, actually got hurt that second game. Yeah, I think Moses Moody fell on my leg.
Oh shit!
So at that point, I'm a little hobbled, and I still got to chase him. So I'm like, you know, Steph just nonstop moving, you know, and so it's a tough task. People don't realize like it's a tough task being the guy that got to chase somebody around.
And there you go. So that's just shows you. I didn't realize he got hurt in that second game, by the way. Some interesting comments here, wrapping things up. One thing that I noticed, so Ernie B. Hernandez writing Wendy and Gabriel, who I actually would not mind joining the Warriors either. He would be an awesome addition. Otto Porter Jr., as we all know, was a fundamental key piece for the team in their world championship pursuit. Alexander in the chat writing that Kerr's been given the chance to have the greatest small ball lineup of all time. He would never pass that up. And I think you're referring to the fact that they have Chris Paul now. Man, we haven't even touched on that much, on what it's going to be like if Chris Paul actually starts. That is not a good look. And Kev F is, and I've heard this before too. I'm going to take a listen as well. Kev is writing that I should play some sound bites from the Iguodala JJ Redick podcast. There's a lot of nuggets to unpack. Other people have told me that as well. I'm going to take a listen. Maybe I'll play that on tomorrow's show. Again, we're going to be back at this right away, Saturday, 5 p.m. with Trice High, who's producing a fantastic Stephen Curry documentary. I was very fortunate enough to be invited to offer some sound bites for that documentary, offer my own perspective. But regardless, if you love Steph and you love the Warriors, it's an awesome show. So Trice is going to come on and promote that and share his thoughts on the Golden State Warriors this season. No sleep, real vibes, right? I mean, if we can sign Jace Johnson as a backup center, that's pretty damn good. Jace Johnson, who I believe was with Santa Cruz last year, he is a 7-footer. He did get a training camp invite. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I am curious to see him play in training camp and hopefully some preseason games. I am very, very curious. Ginji, have a good day yourself and have a great weekend, everyone. It is Friday. Thank goodness. I feel like every week is super long these days. And Leo Jackson is happy being on with fellow Warriors colleagues. Yes, this is a Warriors-friendly program. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today. And thank you so much again to Kylen Mills, my partner in crime and all this. I wish she was not so busy, so I wish she could be on with me every day, but she is talented. She's busy. And even just the fact that we get her right now just 2 days a week is awesome. And at some point, if she has availability, that'll jump up to 3 days a week. But again, Rick Barry, the Hall of Famer himself, he's going to join me throughout the season once a week or once every other week, depending on his schedule. I'm really stoked about that. And that's it. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back at this soon. I'll see you tomorrow. It's going to be a live show, so hope you tune in, 5 p.m. Until then, have a great weekend. Take care, and bye-bye.